Hello, Panther fans, and welcome to our 2025 Senior Reflections as we recap the careers of the class of 2025 for the Panther women's basketball program. My name is Matt Menzel, being joined by Anna Lutz, Hallie Majoris, Jada Donaldson, and Casey Baumhauer. And let's begin by going back to day one. Okay, so you ended up here at Milwaukee. Why Milwaukee?
Yeah, great question. I kind of had a normal recruiting process. I visited different schools. Milwaukee was the first Division I program to offer me, and from day one, it was clear the coaches believed in me, and the community and like the culture that they had here was everything I was looking for. And the coaches were willing to let me do what I wanted to academically, so it was just kind of the perfect fit for me.
Yeah, I wanted to go somewhere a little bit farther from home, but still have easy access to go home as well. And then I wanted a campus that was by a city but not in a city, and Milwaukee was just kind of like best of both worlds, honestly. And I really liked the coaching staff here and the family environment that was around with the teammates. So it just felt like honestly a perfect fit.
Kind of similar to Anna and Hallie, just the family atmosphere here, as well as like being able to pursue what I wanted to academically, which was really big for me, and just all the people here were super welcoming.
Mine's obviously a little bit different than them. They being a transfer versus them coming in. On my visit, I just felt like this was a good group of people and that I was going to enjoy my last year. And especially a big part for me was being in a city with a lot of pro sports teams for that post-college, postgraduate kind of job responsibilities and all of that. And I haven't regretted it one bit. So,
When you look back at the last 4+ years, for Casey, obviously you with St. Bonaventure and Wright State, how do you guys feel like you've grown as people, as players, since day one versus now?
I think my biggest growth has just been growing as a person and kind of understanding how to balance basketball and life and friends and everything. And I think this year especially has introduced what a team can really do for you and how much they can impact you. And I also think it's very important to show how to balance things when life gets a little bit crazy or things don't go your way, like the adversity that you face. I think we've faced a lot of adversity this year, and I think I'm going to take those like life lessons and continue to put them into my daily life.
How about for the three of you? How have you grown in your time here in Milwaukee?
Yeah, I would say similar to what Casey's talked about is the adversity. Even years where we've had more of a winning record than this year, there's always kind of things that are hard to deal with. I mean, aside from just basketball, but time management has been a big thing for me, kind of learning how to prioritize what's important to me, and I feel like that's something I'm going to take with me after I leave this program.
Yeah, I would say like my biggest learning curve was last year with my injury. It just taught me to stay present, just allow yourself to like celebrate the little wins, and if you have a failure, like just find ways to learn and grow from it. And those I think were big, huge things that I learned throughout these years here as well.
I would say just learning how to dedicate yourself and be committed to something was the thing I learned the most being here. And then coming from a smaller town, like being able to kind of grow more into myself, as Milwaukee's a larger city and there's a lot of opportunities and different kinds of people around here.
Something kind of unique, and Anna touched on this, is the fact that time management. And obviously you're students first, athletes second, but there's a lot of travel involved, so, a lot of, juggling of academics and basketball. I guess when you look back at your prep days versus college, maybe what was the biggest difference, day one, compared to what you guys were used to?
I think, like you said, the traveling has been a big part of it. Obviously, in high school, when you're playing basketball, everything's kind of after school and outside of the school hours. But for me, being in an engineering major, I missed a lot of labs and in-person lectures that were sometimes required. So, kind of learning how to communicate with my professors and find different things we can do to make up stuff. That was a big part for me. So, just kind of learning that communication piece for me was a big advantage.
Yeah, my biggest one was just going all online for classes, because then you never miss class because it's always with you. But just being upfront with your professors and working with them if you did have conflicts, so kind of touching along what Anna had said as well.
I'd also say communication, but then learning how to prioritize your schedule to fit both of those things in, because they're both equally as important, was big.
Kind of going off Jay, I would say balance. I think it's a big part of being a Division I college athlete is prioritizing your mental health as well as being a student athlete and being obviously in grad school, which I think all of us are. So I think that's been the biggest thing for me this year is what can I do for myself that's going to produce the best on the court, and that's by taking care of myself off the floor. So I think that over the time management thing, it's what can I do right now that's going to help in 3 days, 4 days, 5 days, rather than just prioritizing maybe just the basketball piece or just the school piece.
How about on the court? What do you think back at your time with the Panthers? what memories, what moments stand out among the rest?
I think for me, everything that stands out to me is just my teammates. I love every team I've been a part of here, and everyone has just been great. I think all the coaches do a really good job at recruiting great people, including like the staffs. But I think like the bus rides and the messing around has been the best part for me. There's always, all my teammates like to nap on the bus and I don't. So for a 7-hour bus ride, everyone's kind of asleep for the first 4 hours and then everyone wakes up and gets a bunch of energy. And I'm kind of sitting there waiting for it to happen, and then we're all like chatting and messing around. Even after like a loss, we try not to take it too hard because in the end, this is really just a fun experience for all of us.
Yeah, I have to say my favorite thing that I'm going to have to remember is the Green Bay game we won last year. Even though I wasn't playing at the time, I was still out. It was just such a cool experience to see how we celebrated, like Cammy in the locker room after, seeing their coach get really upset because, we really upset them for that game. But it was just a cool moment that I don't think I'll ever forget, just how we all came together just to come out with that win. It was a cool experience to be a part of that.
I was also gonna say the Green Bay game, kind of those like high stress moments where like you really have to lean on each other, and I think we do that on and off the court, and it's been really great to have people like that.
I'm gonna have to say the Wright State game at home this year. There was a lot of pressure for that one for me, and it was kind of building up ever since I went to the portal. That was the game everyone kind of highlighted. A lot of people were talking to me about it. And I jokingly said after the game I could finally sleep. I feel like it's been 6 months that I've been going with stressing it and worrying about it. But just to be able to get that win with the other 14 players on the floor, and I feel like that was a game they might not have done it just for themselves. They would have done it for me. And I felt really loved and appreciated during that. So.
How unique as we sit here, we got 2 that call Ohio home and 2 from Wisconsin with us here among this senior class for 2025. But Casey, you mentioned that Wright State matchup. How unique was that, though? Again, facing your former team, knowing a lot of those players, having just been with Wright State the prior couple of seasons, was that difficult?
It was. It was a really weird balance, especially in warm-up, because I still have really good relationships with all the girls at Wright State. Nothing ended poorly there. It truly was just I graduated and wanted a different experience. And I think that they understood that, and I think the Milwaukee team that I'm on now understood that. So as much as it was very nerve-wracking to go into it, it was also really fun. It was like I'm playing a game with 10 of my best friends on the floor at the same time. And it was also fun for me because I knew all their plays, so I kind of ruined their night for them, calling stuff out. So I think it was just a really cool experience, and one that I know I won't forget, being able to kind of play your alum with your next graduating school. So,
Jada, speaking of Wright State, you went off against the Raiders and against Casey as a junior in an overtime game inside the Klatsche Center. Your best performance scoring-wise, what do you remember about that performance?
I just remember wanting to win the game, and my teammates kept speaking life into me and finding me. So when you have people that support you, it's really easy to just trust yourself.
Hallie, for you, getting back to Cleveland, essentially your hometown, you always had some big games against the Vikings. How special were those moments?
It was really cool, just because we always bring out a big crowd of family and friends that come, and so just to be able to perform in front of them and just be able to do what I do, it's always a cool moment and something I won't forget.
And Anna, you and I have talked many times in the past. For whatever reason, you always have big games against Oakland, but is there a certain game you just get up for, a certain team you get up for? Is there something about the matchup that brings out the best in you?
Honestly, this is in conference, but thinking back to NIU, we played them a couple of times over the years. I have a really close friend and a teammate on that team, and it's not necessarily I want to beat them super bad, but it's just more the experience of getting to play against a player that I know so well. And I think we won one of those and lost the other, but I think I played pretty well in those games too. But was really just grateful for that experience.
One thing all of us are fortunate enough to get to do is travel. We get to go to some neat places throughout the course of the season. So as you think about your time at Case, you can go back all the way, throughout your college basketball career. But favorite road trip?
Yeah, for me, I think my favorite road trip is the Detroit-Oakland matchup. And I don't necessarily love the bus ride because it's pretty long and it's a little boring. And playing those teams specifically, nothing to do with that. It's more so that we stay in a really cool hotel and we stay there the entire trip, which normally doesn't happen. We have to pack up everything Thursday night. So I think that the kind of team experience is there. I remember more. There's a big open area and glass windows in your in your room, so everyone's messing around. It's just, I think it's a fun experience.
Not to mention it was Valentine's Day this year.
Yeah.
That was the place to be for
That
Valentine's
was
Day. That was something. Hallie, your favorite road trip?
I was honestly going to say Detroit-Oakland trip as well. Just like every year we go there, it's always just so much fun because again, you can just see everybody when they walk to their rooms. I mentioned Anna this year. Last year I was with Grace Crowley and we were roommates for that trip. And we put a table together and had dinner and like a TV dinner that night and everything. It was just a great experience. And honestly, like that would be a trip those trips I won't ever forget. Those ones are always fun.
I would say when we went to Reno, Nevada, that was one of my favorite trips. Just exploring, kind of, we like traveled all the way up a mountain. And I'm scared of heights, and I was like so scared on the bus. But then we got there, buying cowboy hats and just having a good time.
There's a pig walking around the
Yes.
town. It made no sense, but hey, that was Reno, Nevada for you. Casey.
I would say prior to being at Milwaukee, my favorite trip was coming up here. Obviously going from Beaver Creek, Ohio, to then coming to a bigger city was always fun. But this year I would say Puerto Rico was my favorite. It's just kind of a cool experience that, like a lot of teams in our league, honestly, were there as well, or similar places. And that was just really cool because, like, what a cool experience for this little orange ball to take you and to kind of be able to have that time with your team and all of the interesting dinners and everything we ate up there. So that
How
was great.
special was it for you at IU Indy this season to score your 1,000th college basketball point?
It was pretty special. It's something that you obviously work for from the first moment you play basketball. And so being able to do it in high school and you get that rush and being able to do it in front of your parents. IU was a little bit different just because it's not a home game, it's an away game, and they really don't care if you score a 1,000-point or not. But I feel like that team and the coaching staff really made it so special for me. And even better that we got a really good win and some good ice cream on the way home. So it was worth it.
Speaking of big wins on Senior Day, knocking off the Youngstown State pesky Penguins, how emotional, how special was Senior Day for you for?
Yeah, I feel like aside from the win, it was really cool to see all my teammates and be on like the other side of that because I'd always been the one carrying like the flowers or the picture frame out to my seniors, but kind of be on the other side of that made me realize like this is the end of my career here. But just seeing all my teammates kind of lined up, like I'm loved, and even taking the pictures with our families and stuff, like we have such a great support system. So for me, that was the biggest thing.
For me, it was pretty cool just getting a chance to start for the first time. And especially with the lineup we had, because I always wanted to play with you guys and I never really got the chance to do that. So it was really cool to be able to get to finally run out and do the tip ball with them and everything. And it was a really fun experience.
I think kind of having that night just made it set in that this was like the last of our chapter, and it didn't really feel right last year, which was why I decided to come back this year as well. Just like feeling like it was ending. I didn't feel that way last year, but now like it's all kind of starting to hit me as we continue to get closer to the end.
I would agree. It's kind of, especially with the last couple of games coming up, it's starting to hit a little bit that the entire journey, all the blood, sweat, tears, workouts that you have gone through, which is kind of one day it's just going to wrap up. So I think it was special, and to have a lot of my extended family drive up there and stay for the weekend, that was very meaningful for me, knowing that they haven't been able to make it to a lot of games. So they took the time to come out and support me, and to deliver a good one was also pretty special too.
So what's next for you four? What do you hope is next outside of Panther basketball?
Yeah, I'm planning to go to graduate school for mechanical engineering, hoping to get my PhD, but I'm right now kind of visiting schools and considering my options, so not sure exactly where I'm going, but that's sort of my plan for the future.
So it says I'm listed as a redshirt sophomore on the website, so I'm not technically a senior, so I'm planning on transferring after this year to use up my last 2 years of eligibility.
Right now I'm kind of on the job search end of things, hoping to stay in Milwaukee with my nursing career and begin doing that for a couple of years, and it also gives me an opportunity to stay closer to home as well.
I currently intern with the Brewers, so I'm kind of hoping to carry this throughout the season and stay with the organization as long as possible and really kind of utilize the internship that I'm doing right now.
Let's wrap it up, and this is my favorite part of these interviews we do. It's open mic. So for you, each one of you, what message do you want to say to your teammates, to your friends, to your family, those that have supported you throughout your basketball lives?
Yeah, for my teammates, this is kind of a cliche, but I would say just be in the moment and enjoy everything that you're going through. As much as it's hard some days, you have a really bad conditioning workout or coach gets mad at you in practice, really take a step back and realize that like these are some of the best memories you're going to create, and just enjoy the moment. And for my supporters, I just want to say thank you because it's been a long road and a lot of you have sacrificed a lot. Like my parents and my family members have sacrificed a lot of time and money to kind of get me to where I am today, and I owe the world to them. So
Yeah. Just honestly, just want to say thank you to like all my like the teammates, to my family, to even people who passed like in past years and everything. Just thank you for everything and the support that they've given, and on my bad days being there for me, and on their bad days I was there for them. Like, just all I can say is just thank you for all the memories.
I'd also just say a huge thank you, and don't take anything for granted, because this is a super special opportunity that a lot of people wish they had, and we get to have it. So just be grateful for it and put everything you can into it. And thank you to my parents, the coaches for believing in me, and my amazing teammates I've gotten to get to know, and you guys, and it's just been great.
My message would be thank you. I think that I've had a pretty interesting college career, a lot of ups and a lot of downs. So like big shout outs to like my parents, my support staff, like my Grandma Bridget, if you're watching, happy to have you. And just kind of the people who have kept me afloat. There's been a lot of mental health problems and everything that a lot of Division I athletes go through, and I was unfortunate enough to also go through some of those. So the people who really put a little extra love and smile into me, and it's been throughout my 4 years that I've been here, but especially this last year, I feel like this has been the most supportive and like loving and caring team, and I could tell that on my visit. And like speaking to all you guys and even playing against you guys, like I hated playing against you guys because you guys are nice, so thanks. But it's just always a big thank you, and to be present and to be accountable and to just kind of understand the role that you play and how important that is in your life, but then also like knowing that there is more life outside of basketball and to grow yourself as a human during your 4 years.
Well, Anna, Hallie, Jada, Casey, thanks for all you've done for Panther women's basketball. Thanks for how you've handled yourselves. All the best in your future endeavors. And again, thanks for all that you've done for Panther women's basketball.
Thank
Thank you.
And thank you for watching our Senior Reflections for 2025.